Well, good evening, everyone. How are we all doing? Welcome back to another stream on the channel. It's been a while. But yeah, we're back with another stream and we're talking about Leicester having to get a new manager because obviously Enzo Maresca is pretty much the new Chelsea manager. There's obviously it's not been officially announced yet by the clubs, but Fabrizio Romano has said that here we go. So yeah, Enzo is off to Chelsea. As you can see, you know, it's been ongoing for the last week or so. This came from Fabrizio Romano this morning. Chelsea have agreed to appoint Enzo Maresca as a new head coach. Here we go. Understand the agreement is done on a contract for 5 years, which is stupid. Obviously, compensation will be going to Leicester, which is about 10 million. But yeah, boys, let me know your thoughts on that. I think for starters, it's very frustrating. Do I blame Enzo for going? Not really, because look, you get a top 6 job. He's probably going to get sacked by Christmas and get a massive payout anyway. So I don't really blame him for financial wise. Going to Chelsea at this point, it's a bit of a weird one. But then again, it is a project, and you know, if he backs himself to do that, fair play to him. And you know, do I wish him all the best? Maybe part of me wants him to get sacked by October and do awfully, but yeah, it's one of them really. If Enzo stayed with Leicester and had an awful season, he probably wouldn't have got the opportunity. So I don't blame him for taking it. But to go already is just a little bit... It is frustrating because, look, the guy's not even been here for 12 months. He got signed, in June? And, you know, he's left already. And, you know, we had such a fantastic season. He thought the next step for Maresca and the coaching staff would be to see how they could do in the Premier League. And for Chelsea to sign Maresca, I think is absolutely crazy. And I think the market in terms of managers right now is ridiculous. How Vincent Kompany's gone to Bayern Munich, I do not know. How Maresca's gone to Chelsea, it's absolutely ludicrous, really. But yeah, it brings me on to the second question: who do Leicester get to replace him? We'll talk about that a bit later. Jerry's not happy. Oh yeah, silly Enzo. I don't know if it's silly, but you know, if you think of it from a financial perspective, I don't blame him at all because look, he's probably getting quadruple the wages he's on at Leicester. He's getting a board which will back him in the summer. He'll probably tell him about the financial situation, and I think that has part to do with it. But for me, it's one of them. It's just a bad time, really. It's bad timing. But I think the thing with Leicester is now we have to be quick. We need to be on it and get someone in the door within the next 2 weeks or so, because if we spend too much time trying to get someone in, trying to find the perfect manager, before we know it, the transfer window is going to go, it's going to be open, pre-season started, and we'll just be on the back foot. So Leicester need to act very quickly indeed on that one. But yeah, obviously the coaching staff will be going as well, so we'll have to bring in a whole package of managers a bit later. There's a few names going around here and there, but yeah, it's very, very frustrating. But yeah, make sure to let me know your thoughts. We'll move on to new managers quickly as soon as possible because I think that's the best thing to do. There's nothing else to talk about really. Enzo's gone. We just move on now. Not really care. So straight back down, probably. I mean, who wants a club with FFP? But if Enzo was passionate for us, wouldn't he stay and try and keep us in the Prem? I just think he likes... Yeah, that's true. And that's what I mean. And that's one part, and that's part of the issue because Leicester right now is not... I think it's still an attractive club to come to, but with the financial stuff we've got, which is, you know what I mean, it's gonna be tough for managers to want to go, oh yeah, I'll come to Leicester because, you know, there's a massive, you know, there's a high chance that Leicester will go down this season. And from the news today, obviously we could be getting a fairly hefty points deduction as well. But yeah, part of me does think that, yeah, surely you want to at least have a go with it. You spent all that time getting Leicester into the Premier League, invested. He seemed to be close to the fans and the club, especially towards the end. And to leave just like that as soon as a top 6 club comes calling, it is. I think it is a massive shame. And I've got to be honest, I'm pretty fuming about it because I was a massive fan of Enzo and the way he was playing it and how he was building at Leicester. And obviously those gaps in the system here and there. And you know, granted, if Enzo was still here and we went into the Premier League with Enzo, it would have been difficult and teams would have scored goals against us because, you know, we're so open at times. But I just think the process of having a manager like that coming in for his first job, doing so well, it's just sad to see him go right now. Leaving after one season, yeah, it is frustrating, I think. Yeah, definitely. to be fair, he has came out with a few random comments this season, and he did say if people don't like the system, he would go, and has to be fair. So he's a man of his word. But I just think it leaves Leicester now in a massive deep hole, and it's going to be interesting to see which direction the club go in, because I think we just go one or two ways. We either get a manager for stability to try and stay up, or get someone who is fairly similar to Enzo's ideas. Because if you think about it, the players have all got the planning for the summer has all been around Enzo and the style of play. So if Leicester go the complete opposite direction, it's just going to put us on a bad. It's going to really put us on a back foot. And he's kind of, and that's the thing. There's a lot of players in this squad who, wouldn't have played, but now the likes of like Harry Souttar, Samare, who's obviously now a Leicester City player, Victor Christensen, I don't think he'll stay, but even so, you've got players who, it's going to be a complete level playing field. And you've got people like Vestergaard who have came in this season, done fantastically well, now could not be near the squad next season, depending on who comes in to the job. So, talking of who could come in then, there's three names being put around Leicester Twitter right now, which I think a lot of people are going with: Graham Potter, David Moyes, and Carlos Corberán. So I think for me, the one I want most out of them three, let's say, in an ideal world, Leicester could potentially get them three managers. I'd 100% take Carlos Corberán from West Brom, because I think he's the manager who is most similar to Enzo's style. I think he's done a very good job at West Brom this season, and I think it would be a fantastic signing to bring him in. But depends on a lot of factors. Does Carlos Corberán want to come into Leicester with a points deduction, first time in the Premier League as well? It's one of them. You've got Graham Potter, who Leicester did go for last year, did reject us, but I don't think that was him rejecting Leicester as a club. I think that was just because, he had the Brighton job, had the Chelsea job, got sacked twice, and he had two clubs in one season, and the Chelsea job took a lot out of him. And I don't think that was a case of him rejecting Leicester. I think it was just a case of him wanting to have a break from management, because going from Brighton, the absolute whirlwind in Chelsea at that point, to going to Leicester deep in the relegation battle, I think that would have been a very risky move for his reputation as well. So I don't blame him for that one. So I still think he could potentially be open to it. And then you got David Moyes, who is very different, who I think could potentially keep Leicester up. But the style of play is completely different, and it's fairly boring. I know people would say that Enzo style is boring as well, but it wouldn't be a style to really lift the fans too much. But then again, if it works and it keeps Leicester up, that's what we need, because right now we just need some sort of stability, because the last few seasons have been obviously crazy on and off the field. So we just need to get someone who's going to stay at the club for at least another season, try and get us to survival, and then see what happens from there. But if Leicester could get survival with someone like Carlos Corberán or Graham Potter, it would put us in a fantastic position to try and progress. Because I think under David Moyes, you do have a slight ceiling. Obviously, he's done good. He's done well at West Ham. He won them the Conference League. But I just think with how football's going, you want someone who's kind of more similar to how Enzo plays. But yeah, let's jump back into the chat. Make sure to go drop a like on the stream as well. This is the start of next season's content, if you want to call it that. Obviously, I took a few weeks off, but we are now back, which is good to see. Potter, number one choice. Yeah. About that, but he does, and that's the thing. But Enzo could go in for a few more players, and Cheslea finally going to get some minutes at Chelsea at this rate. If we take Daka tomorrow and Nacho, I'm happy. Can't see that happening, but yeah. At least on the positive side, we have time for a new manager. Hopefully, we get someone decent, and they can put us. Can get us a proper ready for the Prem. I think the right manager / signings we could do. Well, it's 100% right, and that's the thing. Leicester do have a long time to, make this decision, because it's, if you compare it to last year, it's a year since we got relegated. I think Enzo signed 2 weeks into June or something like that. So we have got a long time, but I just hope Leicester don't rush it in a sense. But then again, are kind of quick at the same time to get someone in. You would have thought that the groundwork would have been happening, but no, in Leicester, probably not, because we don't seem to have any contingent plans for anything. Go around for me, yeah. With no Prem experience, I just don't think he's right. True, but you could have said the same of Enzo last year. He had 15 games at Parma or something, no experience whatsoever. So yeah, it works two ways. But then again, we had a fantastic squad in place. So, but I think it's going to be difficult to get someone with bags of experience and to try and keep that same model, because I think if you get someone like David Moyes in, it's going to completely change the squad, because the squad is so used to this style. The transfer plans, which have been made already, would be suited to that style. So I think if we had someone completely different, it would put us on the back foot and maybe put Leicester back transfer-wise for a few weeks. And obviously, with the points deduction and whatnot, I think Leicester are still okay to make as many transfers. Well, not as many as they want, but still have freedom in the market. Around, if you actually get him, that's so embarrassing. I don't know if it's embarrassing. It wouldn't be the most exciting managerial appointment, but it would be a manager, like I said, who would provide Leicester with some sort of stability going forward. And I think out of them three managers going along the screen right now, David Moyes is probably the most likely to keep Leicester up, which is obviously what you want, but you want to try and build towards the future as well, which is why I want Carlos Corberán to come in. Hello, Jack, mate. Hope you're doing all right. Why, Enzo, why? It's a top 6 job, to be fair. So, and that's the thing, though. If you think about it like this, if you're just talking about Enzo, if Enzo stayed with Leicester, got relegated this year, which is obviously a big possibility, would a job opportunity at Chelsea or a massive club come round? I don't think so. So, I think in football you have to keep moving, and you can't stand still, which is why I think Enzo's gone for it. But yeah, talking on these new managers, then there hasn't been anything concrete, but there has been a few rumours around Carlos Corberán. This is from Jason Bourne at TalkSport. It's very early days, but a couple others on TalkSport are hearing the name of Carlos Corberán as a potential target for Leicester should Enzo Maresca move on. So that's positive. Obviously, when there is some more concrete links, I'll do an in-depth stream on the potential managers which Leicester could bring in. But yeah, there is rumblings of some managers coming in, but we've also been linked with the OH Luba manager, which I think would be a disgusting decision, really, because if we bring in the manager from our sister club, no disrespect to them, but for one, I've never heard of him in my life. It's the most lazy decision you could make, because you have to do no work whatsoever, and it's just not very inspiring. So if Leicester do that, if Leicester bring in that manager, I would write the season off before it's even started, to be honest, because I just think that would be a pathetic move, in fairness. How disappointed that Enzo's leaving so soon? 100%, mate. It's gutting, really, because like I said, he's done so well. The groundwork was there. To move on like this is just, I don't know. I just wish Leicester could have one season where it's just normal, because I can't remember the last time Leicester had a season where nothing is ridiculous or strange or out of the blue has happened. It's just crazy. On the realistic side, if we get an alright manager, we're still going to get 15 to 20 position, excluding the points that should be hammered with. Yeah, the squad's still there, and that's what I mean. If we can get a manager who suits this system, the squad we've got is very good to compete. I think the Premier League is obviously going to be a lot stronger this season than last season, because obviously you've got rid of the promoted sides. You had Everton and Forest, who of course didn't do great. Well, Everton did quite well, to be fair, in fairness. Forest obviously down there, but them two had them points deductions. So I don't think Forest had about 32 points. I don't think that is going to keep you up there going into this season. So yeah, it's going to be very difficult. But if we can get it right, I think the players we have, there's a lot of experience in there. We're more than capable of staying up. So we just need to get the right man in, make some good transfers, potentially look in the loan market once again, and just try and stay up, because it's the same as last season. Last season was just getting up and going from there. This season is now staying up and going from there. Obviously, it's good to have a plan and the model going forward, but I think in Leicester's case, we just need to try and go step by step, instead of if Leicester came mid-table each season, sack the manager like Puel did, and then bring Rodgers in, you can kind of progress a bit more. But I think with our case, we just need some sort of stability, to be fair. Hopefully we'll get a manager with Prem experience. Will be a tough season. Yeah, experience. I think experience is obviously more important now. We are in the Premier League. It's just that fine balance, really, of experience and the style of play. And I think it's difficult, really, because I think the way football's going, most teams are trying to play this way, which Enzo played this season with Leicester. And granted, it does work. If you get someone like David Moyes in, he's going to set Leicester up in a very rigid way, tough to beat, and that's what you need, because last season we did concede a header. I think we had the best record, but we seemed to concede some sloppy goals, and we did give away a lot of chances next season. So we need to obviously be a lot better defensively because, you know, in the Premier League, teams are going to gobble them chances up. But yeah, it's tough, really. To be fair, if Leicester got David Moyes in, I don't think I'd be too disappointed. Graham Potter, I'll be more than happy with that. And like I said, Carlos Corberan, more than happy with that. So that any of them three, I think, would be very good. Anyone else, I'm not sure. Obviously, you know, it could be someone absolutely random, just like Enzo again. It could be Klopp, yeah. On a separate note, it's quite bad for the Prem to allow Leicester season tickets to be sold up for the point deduction. I think it's bad that the points deduction news hasn't been confirmed yet because you know, it's not like Man City where they've got 115 charges to work through. The Premier League surely know what it's going to be, so just say it, because it puts Leicester in a bad situation as well, because, you know, a manager's going to come into the club and not knowing what's going to happen this season. And, you know, if the points deduction isn't announced before the season starts, I think that's ridiculous, because, you know, you start the season, well, get 10 points on the board, then you get the deduction, so you're on to minus points again. It's like, I just don't get why it takes so long to do it. If Leicester can stay up, we can get a really good foundation and strength for the club and players, and eventually get back to Europe in 3 to 4 years. Yeah, we're shown. Yeah, exactly that. And that's the thing. But I just think this season now, especially with the situation now, it's just so pivotal. We can just get over the line. You know, even if Leicester play poorly this season, which is probably going to happen, because granted that the Premier League is a very competitive league. You've got so many teams now who are looking good. You know, the likes of Crystal Palace look to be, you know, ended the season fantastically well. Everton were quite good. I don't know, quite good, but they performed a lot better than they have in recent seasons. So it's a very competitive league. And as we know, it's so easy to get dragged down there. But the other seasons have shown, a year ago today, where Leicester did go down. A bit more of a news then on them points deductions. Obviously, there was a report today from the Telegraph saying it was about. I think I can find it quickly. There it is. There we go. Anything between 6 to 15 points, which I don't think it can be 15 points, to be fair. So I think that's a bit of a stupid article, just trying to grab a headline, I think, because a lot of people are saying that the maximum's 8. I don't know the details behind it, but I can't see it being more than 8 points, because look, Forest and Everton, what have they done anything much worse than us, or less worse than what Leicester have done? I don't know. I think 15 points is pretty ridiculous for what PSR charges, where look, we benefited and went down in the same season and signed 2 players. I don't know how that's benefiting, but yeah, I just think I think the whole point deduction thing is stupid, and that's a completely different video. You got you know, Man City, Chelsea, etc. But I just can't see it being 15. Really can't. Hopefully not. Anyway, else if it's 15 points, I think that's completely write off. De Zerbi, no, I don't think so. I think there's no chance, because what McKenna, I think, rejected. Did he reject Chelsea in the end, or Brighton? And De Zerbi, I can't. No chance. No chance. I think De Zerbi wanted the Chelsea job, in fairness, because, you know, if De Zerbi leaves Brighton, there's no way he comes to Leicester, because obviously Brighton are miles above Leicester right now. But yeah, McKenna's getting a new contract, which, you know, fair play to McKenna, but obviously the only thing with him, obviously, has been at Ipswich a bit longer than Maresca. And I think, you know, if you take a team from League One to the Championship, then to the Premier League back to back, surely you stay there. Surely, because to do that is ridiculous. So yeah, it'd be interesting. I think Southampton are always going to keep hold of Russell Martin. Shane that Leeds are with us in the Premier League next season after winning the Premier after they won the Championship, obviously twice, especially on that February night at Leeds. Potter, if you think an experienced play style at the same time, I think Potter's the one, 100%. Because look, yes, he took a while out of management, but if you look at someone like Eddie Howe, when he got, I don't think he got sacked by Bournemouth, but when he left Bournemouth, which I think was the season we first bottled Champions League, 1920. He had at least a year out. Came back to Newcastle and look how well he's done there. So I think someone like Potter, look, he's had a year out now. I think Potter could be the one, but I think it's going to be a difficult one to bring in, because apparently he rejected Ajax this season as well. So who knows? But maybe I like it, because look, he went to Chelsea, a top 6 club, didn't go well, and I think Potter is more suited to someone a bit lower down. So maybe. We need a manager that doesn't first of all just take the time. Yeah, it's one of them really. I think to stay up in the Premier League, you just need to be good defensively and go from there. Because I think if Leicester can just be solid at the back, but you have the attacking flair to do well. Look, we have Premier League experienced players going forward. Thinking about it, we don't with Steffi and Abdul, etc. But I think them type of players have the flair, the ability to drag us over the line and score some goals. So I think the most important thing is just to get a manager who can sort that defence out, and Corporate does that. Which I've been looking at some of his tactical stuff. So you know what? 21 minutes. We'll go for another 10 minutes. We'll have a look at some of Corporane's tactical setup because I just think it would suit us perfectly. So if I can find the... So obviously he doesn't go with that inverted fullback, but it does kind of shuffle over. So here's an example. And look, with the players Corporane's got, I think he's done a very good job to get West Brom into that playoff position. And obviously he hasn't worked too well. But and Corporane likes to set his side up in a very kind of defensively structured way. As you can see there, with the low block they introduced, and as you can see here, which was against Leicester, in fact. And if you cast your minds back to the games against West Brom, we were very lucky to get 2 wins for them because the game at the Hawthorns here, we didn't play particularly well. Obviously, we got that last minute winner. The game at the King Power. On another day, West Brom take their chances, and that's what it's like a 3-2 game or something like that. So. Yeah, I think it's clear to see that West Brom do make it very hard for teams to break them down. And you just look at that, the amount of players they've got back there. Like Leicester got Justin here, Winks, I think that's Ricky in there, and they make it very difficult and they force you out wide, and that seems to work. If you cast your mind, I don't know why I remember this, but Liverpool at home a few years ago when we won 1-0, I just remember Leicester being so condensed in the middle, and Liverpool just didn't really have anything. And obviously, Lookman scored that goal, and we got that big win. It works, and defensively, like I said, it's a 4-4-2 when defended, and obviously that's something which a lot of managers do implement. And yeah, I just like the way he plays. I think it would suit us quite nicely in the Premier League. And look, the press is that them going forward, yeah. So that's obviously Leicester giving the ball away as well, and they press quite nicely as well with the 2 men up here as well. So I just think overall, I think Corporane will suit us quite a lot. Obviously Potter does have more experience as well, which is a good thing. But yeah, I just think watching West Brom this season, they impressed me. Obviously they didn't do well against Southampton, but I think the individual players took over there a bit. So yeah, if you just look at this on base value, look, they press quite high, defensively structured. That's what you want. And I think with Leicester's individual quality and the players Leicester have over West Brom is going to take us to that next level. And look, if you look at Corporane as well, he's at Huddersfield as well a few years ago, and they did fantastically well there. I think it was the season that they got to the playoff final against Forest. So and yeah, if you look at Huddersfield now, they're in League One. So he's done a good job there. For 5 at the back, potentially. If we do go to a 5 at the back, we'll have to get another centre back in, I think. Someone definitely with pace. Obviously, it looks like Callum Doyle is not. I can't see Doyle re-signing for Leicester now, especially that Enzo's gone. So I think that one's done. Obviously, Atgun has gone back to Galatasaray as well. So, but yeah, I think player-wise, just look in the loan market once again, because the players we got on loan last season, a lot of them did very well for us. And sometimes take a few risks. Sign Fatawu, a young experienced player from Portugal who's not really done much, and now look at him, he's flourishing into a fantastic player who I'm pretty sure Leicester have sorted that deal out. I don't think they can announce it officially yet, but I think it's pretty much done. So that is obviously a massive positive. And yeah, on that compensation, it is 8 mil plus some money for the staff. So let's say about 10 million or something like that. But yeah, that is another point. Obviously, all of the coaching staff, which is part of Enzo's group, will be joining him at Chelsea. So lots of Willy Caballero, Dan Walker as well, etc., etc. So yeah, he's a good manager, but no Prem experience. I really do think, yeah, no, you're right. But I am willing to take that risk because I just think going for someone more experienced who doesn't play the same style is worse off than taking someone who's slightly less experienced. But then again, Corporane has managed at Olympiacos and stuff, so I think he is fairly experienced, but obviously not in the Premier League, and far more experienced than Enzo. You reckon we stay up next season? Honestly, it just depends. Right now, no, because well, we don't have a manager, but depending on who we get, I honestly don't know, because it's going to be a hell of a task, because Southampton, I think Southampton will definitely be fighting. Ipswich, Ipswich is one of them. It just depends how much the quality of the Premier League overrides them, because realistically they still have a championship squad, and maybe even a League One squad, because on face value the players Ipswich have got aren't that great, but they just play so well in systems, and that's the way football's going, really. It's not so much about the quality of players. Obviously it helps, but to have a team which works well in a system can benefit you so much more than having a few individual quality players. And that's why I think Leicester needs to get a manager who has a system, because I just think that's the way it's going. And we've seen it at Newcastle. On face value, look, they don't have a Champions League squad really, but last season they got into it, so it just comes down to that. Nathan Collins on loan, potentially. I definitely think we need someone who is very quick though, because I think Wout's going to be in there. Vestergaard, I don't know. It depends on the manager. Obviously, Vestergaard has got that Premier League experience, but I think would struggle with the pace of the game. You got Harry Souttar, who when Souttar played for us in the Premier, he weren't that bad. Obviously, last season barely played a minute, but he's still a good defender. Seems to do well when he plays for Australia. So it's one of them really. It's going to be interesting transfer-wise, and obviously I think we have been linked with that defender from Feyenoord. I can't remember his name, but we'll just have to see if that's any legs on it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, is that him? I think that is. But I think that may be out of our price budget. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how much Leicester can do transfer-wise, because obviously we got this points deduction hanging over us, but I do think we have some money in the bank. So obviously you get money from going up. We got an extra 10 million or so now with Enzo going. So be interesting. But then again, if we do get someone like Corbram, I think we'll have to buy him out of West Brom. So with Potter and Moyes, they are available to get for free. So that is another point. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting few weeks, boys and girls. But I think that is where we are going to wrap things up, unless you've got any final comments, questions. I should be live again tomorrow, if not the day after, and hopefully by then we have a few more links, because I imagine this Enzo saga to Chelsea will be officially announced tomorrow, potentially tonight. So I have to see. The thing I'm wondering most is, will Fatawu sign? I think Fatawu will sign. Vardy. I don't think Enzo has much bearing on if Vardy signs or not, but obviously still nothing on that, so it'd be interesting. Part of me thinks that Vardy may go, but yeah, I think Fatawu is definitely going to join. I think Vardy will do next. If he stays, I don't think he'll have much minutes. I don't know, really, because the strikers looks. Let's face it, Ian Atcher is going to go. Daka's going to go. Cannon will stay, and then that's the thing. We're gonna have to sign a new striker as well, because Vardy, yes, he scored about 15 goals I think last season, so he's still got goals in him. But I don't think he'll have that much of an impact in the Premier League specifically as well. So, but I think Vardy would definitely be involved. He'll probably get the odd 5 goals or something, which would obviously still help. But new manager, might like Souttar. Vestergaard's done brilliant. Exactly, that's spot on. Because it just comes down to preference, and it's the same thing with Enzo. Look, Vestergaard was nowhere near the squad last season or the season beforehand, and you look now, past season was the regular. I don't know if it's called last season or this season still. Thank you very much, Robbie. Thanks for coming in, much appreciated. And there we go, boys and girls. Thank you very much for coming in. It's good to be back on the live streams. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you have, make sure to go and drop a like. It massively helps the channel out. I'm going to try and stay as consistent as I can over the summer. University is done for the first year, so we will be back creating videos and content over the season. A long way to go until the first game of the Premier League season, which is middle of August, which is seems miles away, but I assume it'll come around quite quickly. So there was, guys. Thanks for coming in. Make sure to drop a like, as I said, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're watching this back on playback, Make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments on Enzo Maresca leaving Leicester and who Leicester could potentially get to replace him. But yeah, boys, I'll see you in the next couple of days for another live stream talking about managers. See you there. Up the City.